This strategy has a lot of potential in helping to deliver the poor out of poverty if government is able to successfully undertake convergence efforts in partnerships with social enterprises. I am particularly enthusiastic about seeing this strategy in coconut and fishery-based subsectors where the poorest in the rural sector are located. Fisher folk and coconut farmers are amongst the poorest of the poor in rural areas. Latest data show that about half of the 1 million fisher folk in the country earn income below the poverty line and are among the most food insecure. The same poverty level is true for the more than 1.2 million coconut farmers nationwide. Some 25% of the agricultural lands are devoted to coconuts, covering about 3 million hectares. 700,000 of the 1.2 million hectares of CARP balance are coconut lands. Coconut products remain the biggest single export-earning agro-based crop. The potential impact of promoting social enterprises in various subsectors of the coconut industry is mind-boggling. Huge potentials exist for engaging the poor in social enterprises in such subsectors as cocoa sugar, desiccated coconut, virgin coconut oil, cocoa fiber, and cocoa peat, just to name a few. To illustrate, let me show the potential impact of social enterprises that would just utilize the 10 billion coconut husk from the 3 million hectares of agricultural land planted to coconut. The Foundation for a Sustainable Society Incorporated estimates that if collected and processed, this volume of cocoa husk can provide some 1 billion tons of fiber, 2 billion tons of cocoa peat or dust per year, with a market value approximately 10 billion pesos to 15 billion pesos. Moreover, processing the fiber and cocoa peat into higher value products can generate employment and livelihood opportunities for at least 3 million people in various coconut communities throughout the country. Just think about it. The full development of these coconut husk-based subsectors alone could provide employment and livelihood opportunities to all 1.2 million coconut farmers and 1 million fisher folk nationwide. Even before House Bill 6085 is passed, I would like to advocate undertaking a strategy of this nature as the executive branch concludes the battle to resolve the cocoa levy issue in favor of small coconut farmers. The courts have ruled last January 24, 2012, that 27% of San Miguel Corporation shares of stocks are owned by government and are to be used only for the benefit of all coconut farmers and for the development of the coconut industry. The total shares are valued at 56.5 billion pesos, and as of January of this year, it has earned dividends amounting to 9 billion pesos. This money can actually be used to capitalize and develop social enterprises with coconut farmers as the primary stakeholders in key subsectors of the coconut industry. In addition to the Cocoa Levy Fund, there are many other ways for government to support the development of the social enterprise sector. And here I would like to make special mention of an important provision in House Bill 6085, mandating the use of government's power of public procurement for poverty reduction. As a case in point, let me go back to the cocoa coir subsector and show how government procurement of geotextile nets could impact the coconut farmers' poverty situation. Geotextile nets have been proven to be superior and cost-effective for erosion control in road construction and other infrastructure projects, and are already used extensively in other countries. While there have been efforts for government to use them for public works, I believe much more can be done to effectively mainstream their use in government infrastructure projects. For example, the DPWH has already identified 4 million square meters of slopes in various parts of the country where geotextile nets could immediately be used. However, we have not seen government procurement efforts commensurate to serving even this immediate need. As early as 2002, a Department of Agrarian Reform Commission study revealed that an agrarian reform beneficiary's household's income averaging 18,500 pesos per year had the potential of increasing 3 to 5 times to around 60 to 95,000 pesos per year by participating in a sustained manner in the twining and weaving activities of social enterprises engaged in the manufacture and sale of geotextile nets. While that study needs updating, it is indicative of the great impact of public procurement for poverty reduction, not only for coconut farmers, but for the other poverty sectors as well. Overall, HB 6085 codifies a set of incentives and support programs for social enterprises to flourish in major economic subsectors so that as a nation, we can accelerate poverty reduction. These support programs include special credit windows supported by guarantee fund pool so that social enterprises could avail of non-collateralized loans. A comprehensive insurance system so that social enterprises and the poor could be protected from the impacts of climate change and natural disasters. A research and development program to assist social enterprises undertake continuing innovations. A market development program based on the principles of fair trade that would allow social enterprises to grow, and a capacity development program to assist social enterprises and the poor manage the challenges of scaling up. Even without this much needed government support, social enterprises have been engaged in evolving models of poverty reduction with a level of impact in specific communities they have touched. I would love to tell you the success stories of Alter Trade Group in Negros Occidental and how it had helped over 800 assetless, powerless sugar workers turned agrarian reform beneficiaries, and AFIRE in Southern Leyte that innovated on manufacturing a diversified set of coconut-based products, but I would rather that the people directly involved in these enterprises tell their stories. Besides, I feel that I have talked quite at length already. So let me just end by saying that with the incentives and support that House Bill 6085 envisions, we hope social enterprise models like Alter Trade and AFIRE and others that have been proven successful in addressing poverty could be replicated or assisted to scale up their coverage and impact among poor households in more communities nationwide over a shorter period of time. Again, congratulations once more, and may we have a productive dialogue as we launch this multi-sectoral forum series towards accelerating poverty reduction through social entrepreneurship, the essence of House Bill 6085. Magandang hapon po at marami pong salamat.